Hello and welcome back to Denver Links Radio. I'm your host, Izzy, and today I'm joined with the lovely Spitting Image. So if you guys want to just introduce yourselves, say what you do.
I'm Marshall Cudlitz. I'm the lead singer and guitar player of Spitting Image.
And I'm Cooper Mahalik. I'm the drummer.
Awesome. So how long have you all been playing music, like outside of the band?
For me, I started playing drums when I was 10, and then I picked up guitar around 7th grade and started writing songs. And I was in Nebraska, so it was really hard to find a band at that moment. But I've been just doing music for the majority of my life, and this is where I'm at now.
Okay.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Should be a prodigy.
No, yeah. I've also kind of taken a similar route to Marshall. I've been playing drums since I was 8, but I just kind of stuck on the drums. I didn't really find a ton of other instruments that they didn't really call to me as much, And I had a pretty good natural talent, I would say. I was kind of self-taught. So, just been writing that way for the last, I don't even know, 15 years, 14 years. Yeah.
Okay. So, are there any, big inspirations for you guys growing up?
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero 3.
Guitar Hero did it, and that's kind of the only thing we all talk about in the band. It's just how much Guitar Hero. Yeah.
When we hear a song that was from Guitar Hero 3, we're all like, hey, that's that Guitar Hero 3 lore. And we just, I don't know, we all love that. So,
yeah.
Can we swear on it?
Yeah.
I
think you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, Guitar Hero's
awesome. But even on our last tour in the car, we were just it felt like we were playing a lot of Guitar Hero 3 songs. Yeah. It's because we all grew up from that. It all came out when we were about 10 years old, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Around the right time that music really creeps in.
Starts actually making sense to you in a way.
Yeah.
So we're all rock and metal guys. I got super attached to all of the Metallica, Iron Maiden, Dragon Force. I actually loved Dragon Force for a while.
I didn't know that.
I got into power metal for a second.
Sweet.
I would say that's our biggest influences. But what would yours be now? I guess
probably. Well, I don't know. Been really into this band called Violent Soho, and kind of all the Australian rock bands. And actually, they're from California. Yeah, they're from California. But just that type of Aussie rock sound. It's very punky. That's been pretty cool lately. But my earliest influence was probably Pearl Jam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I watched Pearl Jam 20. Yeah. After watching that, I was in 5th grade, around when I started playing drums, and I watched Pearl Jam 20. And it changed my life forever. It was just I want a band as soon as possible. And it happened in high school. I had one band, it was a cover band. Played some shows. There was a talent show thing that we had at our high school, and that put us on a big stage. It's all on YouTube, but that was oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Having those guys, I don't think they were as serious. I love them. I still talk to them all the time, but I think nobody really pushed it on them to say hey, you could do this too. It was more of you have to go to college, you have to get a job and stuff. My parents were very supportive of do what makes you happy, but you got to work hard at it.
Yeah.
So that's why I moved out to Denver in 2018 after high school, because I was I'm tired of not having a band. I'm from Grand Island, Nebraska, so very small town.
Yeah.
It's super hard to find musicians who like rock music. First of all, there's no real bars that you can go to at that point, so Denver was the best bet.
Yeah, you came to the right city.
It's the right city. This scene is insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We just got done with the tour, East Coast tour, and everywhere we went, it just seemed even the guys, Revolver of Kings, those guys are super sick. We fuck with them real hard. They even said the scene is, there's a scene for everything. But when we were there, it just seemed like Denver really has a more close thing, where New York is just a bunch of crap everywhere.
Yeah.
Where Denver is just a tight community. A big reason why we have shows and stuff is from this guy, Alex Creighton, but part of Coastless Creatives.
Yes, yeah.
A god, he set us up right. Just local show after local show. It was first like just based on donations and stuff, and then it just grew into like, okay, now we can sell tickets. Like I'm well known enough, and I can promote your shows, and we owe that guy a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you said you went on tour. How was that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it?
It was crazy.
It was
Good. I definitely one of the most surreal experiences that I've ever done. Like, just being on the road to give you context, like this isn't like your tour with like a van and like you got days planned to like not do anything. No, this was the hard, fast, easy way to do it. We did 5 dudes, 2 bands worth of people. So some places we had openers, some we didn't. So we're playing like 1.5 sets some nights. So us 5 in a Subaru Outback, which our friend Dom in Red Light Ritual, that's his band. Okay. And Idle Threat, which was our opener, he's an Idle Threat too. Okay. So it's just a 2-piece. And so they're like kind of a fill-in, so we had them open in Spitting Image. Our band was headlining. So it was all of us in a Subaru Outback and like the second biggest U-Haul trailer you can get.
Wow.
Like the cargo trailer.
Yeah,
like the really small one that you just hitch on.
Yeah.
And we went, I can't even...
4,000 miles.
Yeah, 4,500 miles, nine shows.
Wow.
And we came out not hating each other. So I mean, I feel like that's a big dub. And we made money. Honestly, like we didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 9 shows over the span of how many days was the tour?
So it would have been 11.
11.
Yep,
wow.
11. So
it was not a lot of rest time.
Yeah.
And it was
the last night in New York. We had to for the time crunch. We had to play the last show at the Shrine in Harlem. Right after the show, drove all the way through the night to Chicago.
16 hours.
16 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
I did most of that driving though, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were excited.
Yeah.
Because that's where he's from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
He knew he had a following ready to go, and goddamn, you did.
Yeah,
that was a lot of people.
We ended up getting 70 pre-sale tickets.
Oh wow!
Which was like the most we've gotten from a show, maybe like 2 full.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also probably had like 20 walk-ins. Some people bought some merch.
Yeah.
And then the bar was kind of making me worried though. I had this anxious feeling about the bar because they called us a month before we got there and was like, and like we were like dead set on playing there. Like there was no turning back at this point. They call us after we were all booked and everything, and they go, "Oh, and I had to pay for this place. Actually, I had to pay $125 to play there because it's like a rental space, like for like banquets or whatever." But I played a show there like a long time ago with a band that I had in high school, and I called and they're like, "Yeah, we don't really do concerts here." It's like, "Are you kidding me? That's not true. I feel like that's not true."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I played here for free. One of the parents probably paid for it, but and then anyways, they call and they go, "Hey, no moshing in this place. It's not really the place for that." I was like, okay. I guess I can like make an announcement about it like before we start or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, just really make sure that doesn't happen because we don't want stuff to break and whatever." I was like, "Okay." And I got really upset about that because I knew all my friends were going to be really rowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we have a song specifically for that.
Every
time.
I would say most are songs you could in this section.
Most of them.
But like I was getting really nervous about that at the end of the night. We had no problems, no noise complaint. That was also something that I was worried about. And then the bartenders liked us so much that they didn't end up making us pay.
Oh, so, that's nice.
Yeah, so I just had to pay
money.
sound guy, door guy. We were gone. Yep. And we had to go to Nebraska the next day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what were some of like the lessons like you kind of learned on tour, whether through the hard way or
Right. I would say, prior, Well, okay, so being on tour, it would be booking local bands that actually have a following where they're going to show up with people, because that's what we had a bet on for like Memphis. We didn't really know a lot of people. Like, we knew people from Arkansas. I knew people in New York. He knew Chicago. I knew Nebraska, but like Memphis was like our weakest one. So that's why we had local acts, so they would bring people. Both of them ended up bringing nobody.
Yeah,
so
Memphis is going to be a hard sell in the future.
Yeah.
We were pretty like upset. I think.
Yeah, it was just like
it followed us into New York. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And that followed us into New York,
because New York, the first show there was also not super hot.
Yeah. Well, and nobody was like since we're a small band just starting, like they're not going to promote us at all, and they didn't. And we were told after the whole New York thing was like how much we kind of got robbed of. Like, that was a great performance. People should have been here, and they really dropped the ball on that. So it was like that was the real big lesson in the middle of it. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's rewind a little bit, backtrack. How did you guys like meet? How did you guys start?
Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's a fun story.
Well, we'll start with just Spitting Image in general. I moved out here to Denver in 2018 and I just wasn't aggressive enough to go talk and mingle. I was pretty shy because it was just me.
Yeah.
And it's a big city and I'm from a small town. So I moved out here. I joined one band, and that didn't work out. And then in the midst of that, I was just writing my own album. And like around 2020, I hit up a buddy of mine named Ethan Picegors. He's a terrific lead guitarist from Michigan.
That dude's a legend.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He can just sweep.
He's really good.
And he was the one who taught me my first riffs when I was 13, because we met in a trailer park where our dads were working. So anyways, fast forward to that. I asked him to move out, but this is in the midst of COVID. So I finally have a solid guitar player, and all the way from Michigan, and we try to set up shows, and it's just not working. We couldn't find a drummer. I put up flyers from a long time ago. Nobody was calling. And then I met this girl who was living back in my hometown with my sister. And so that just seemed like, I was just kind of ready to toss it in. Yeah. I ended up moving back to Nebraska with her. And then I hit up some old high school friends. One of the old high school drummers that I had, I asked like if he wanted to do something sometime. I started with a cover band. The members would live too far away, so that didn't work. And then I talked to my cousin, who was also going to college in the same town. His name is Wyatt Colas. He's still in the band to this day. He joined. So
he was on tour with us.
He was on tour, yeah. And then Jesse Nissen follows shortly because he drops out of college, and we just start Spitting Image probably February of 2022. We made 6 songs that are all on the EP that's out now on Spotify, called Between the Lines. And I decided that I want to move to Colorado with my girlfriend, and I'll just figure it out. And it felt like Spitting Image was over, but it wasn't. So I just ended up saying like, okay, I can just thumb in drums for anybody. So I'll just see what I can find. And what ended up happening, this is where it gets crazy, was like, the first show.
There's like a lot of weird.
Everything just fell in line in a weird place. Yeah. Oh, okay. So backing up even more. Right when I moved back to Nebraska, I get a text message from this guy named Dominic Milan, and he was wondering if I wanted to start a band. I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?"
Like right as you moved.
Right as I moved, I was like, "Where are you from?" He was like, "Denver." I was like, where did you see this ad? He was like, Guitar Center. I hung a flyer up in Guitar Center in 2018, and it was still up there to 2021. Wow. He saw it, and he was actually a good player. That's what blew my mind. He was like, I love Queens of Stone Age, Foo Fighters, Led Zeppelin, like all these same bands. I was like, shit, man. Like, I just moved, but let's stay in contact. And so 2 years go by. Spitting Image has our first show at 7th Circle Music Collective. Through Alex, Toastless Creatives, because Alex and I go way back when I first moved to Denver. So he sets up a show. We had a great set. It was great just to be in Denver playing live. And Dom ends up seeing that on Instagram that we had a show. So he shows up to that show. So that's the first time that I see him after messaging him 2 years ago. He shows up to the show, pulls up with complimentary wine. I was like, dude, this guy's legit, man. This guy's cool shit, classic. And he was like, we have this after party. Like, you guys want to come? We didn't end up going because everybody was tired and we had to travel back to Nebraska the next day. That was August of 2022, or July of 2022. My girlfriend and I decide we're going to move to Denver in August 2022. We end up moving in October, get an apartment. Alex has his band Fun Machine. So I wanted to go see his show. I go to, and I can't remember where it's at, but it's on Colfax, a little small, dingy place. And so I go to watch his set, but guess who's there? Dominic. Dominic's there headlining that night with his band, Red Light Ritual. Wow. So I go to talk to him. They're like, hey, man, like, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple months. And like, we should talk. Like, I watched their set. They're great stoner rock riffs. Like, it's right up my alley. But I don't think I could contribute anything to what they were doing. So I asked him. We went to the Milk Bar later that night. I was like, hey, you and I should jam sometime.
Yeah.
I love what you guys are doing. And I don't know, give it a shot. So I was like, let's book a space at Rocket Space. I'll drum. You just play guitar. I got this baritone guitar, which is like a really low tuning guitar. So it kind of covers bass notes in like the last 5 frets, depending on where you tune it. And we just had this idea of like kind of Black Keys, Royal Blood thing, but like we have a baritone, so it's different. And we started with that. We got Alex to book us a show. We were going to play with Fun Machine. And so this is when Cooper comes into the picture. Okay. So we have our first show at Larimer Lounge, Idle Threat, and Fun Machine's going to play. But Fun Machine violated the radius clause, which means you can't play at the Lost Lake, Global Hall, or Globe Hall, or Larimer Lounge. Yeah. And so he had to drop out. And Dylan, the guy who is booking the show,
who is my brother,
which I didn't know at the time.
He's 2 years younger than me. He goes to CU Boulder.
Yeah.
He met Alex at a frat house.
Oh, okay.
And Alex was just there on one random night, like just promoting that show, right? Yeah. And
I guess Dylan just took a hold of it. I don't know how, because I thought it was Coastless.
You know, I actually don't know where that actually like starts to intersect. Yeah. But my brother knew this guy Alex who did Coastless Creatives and Fun Machine, and he recommended that I fill in for. Initially it was
Red Light Ritual.
Red Light.
Fun Machine has to drop out, and I was like, well, Dom also has a band, but he's his drummer's having like knee surgery or something, so he can't make the show. And Dylan was like, well, I know this drummer. He's badass, knows all this. He can play songs right off the bat. I was like, oh, nice. And then I mentioned that to Dom with Red Light, and they're like, no, we just kind of want to keep it the band. Gotcha. And so I tell Dylan that, but I was like, well, technically, I have a band. I just don't have members, but I do need a drummer. And he was like, well, here's this guy. His name's Cooper Mahalik. Check him out. All he kept saying was this guy. He never mentioned that.
He never said, hey, that's my brother.
Yeah. So we start texting and hitting off great. Like, he's super ready to play a show, like excited. Like, I think the text we kept saying, we just kept like, it was like fangirling. It was like, and like excitement and like.
And what I think, well, what you're missing is that I only had a month to prepare for this first show.
Right.
And like, he was talking to this about me, and I was like, okay, I'm down to do this show for sure. Comes over, we play. I learned 3 songs in a week. I think I started with 3 songs the first week, and then 2 songs the next week. But after the first rehearsal, that's when you were like, dude, do you want to just like actually just be the drummer for Spitting Image? And that's when I was like, yeah. And his like follow-up question to that was, are you trying to do this like for real? Like for real? Like not just be like a casual band. Like I'm like planning to go on like tours and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, honestly, like I was in a band in high school that we were just like starting to get like somewhat popular in the area. They're signed to a label now. And it's like the biggest regret of my whole life is dropping out of a band. And I was just waiting for something for so long. I mean,
what was the band's name?
Bad Planning. That they're from Barrington, Illinois. I guess Bennington.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was definitely like the biggest regret. But when I had this opportunity and heard the music that he was playing, I was like, okay, I could fuck with this. Like, there was a lot of bands that I was like willing to settle with at some point too, and I was just like, man, that just would not be fun ultimately. So yeah, so then we played the first show and everything went great. And the first show, we actually convinced Jesse and Wyatt, his two buddies from Nebraska,
original members,
to come out.
Yep.
Yeah, and Trevor didn't come out, right?
Surprise. He was doing
the
camera.
Yes, he did. Yeah, and the old drummer came too, which was really good. That was a little awkward though for me for a sec, but he's a really cool guy. He was very nice about it. Yeah, so that's kind of like how we got started, and ever since then, we've just been playing as many shows as possible, and doing tours and stuff, and now doing a podcast. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
this is our first
cool.
podcast. So
our first show was last March like 15th or something like that at Larimer.
Yeah, sounds
so
right.
It's been, I don't know, 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
since we started playing together.
Not too much.
But
I feel like we.
Do you ever thank your brother for like?
My brother,
supporting you, pushing you so hard.
So funny thing about that is at our first show, my he's a big rap guy. He's like, he loves honestly, he's big into all rap.
Yeah.
About nothing else though. Here. Maybe some classic Rocky in there. He's
well, now he's getting into Motley Crue.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was talking about that. Like, he's fucking stoned out of his mind. Like, man, you guys really got me into this shit. Like, I'm really digging this metal. I was like, Motley Crue.
But
they fuck.
Yeah. But anyways, he was at the show because he wanted to see me play drums. He hadn't seen me play drums in a while. He thinks it's dope, so that's awesome.
See what he helped create.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, in the end, we kind of owe it to Dylan.
We do.
Yeah.
No, Dylan.
If it wasn't for him promoting his brother.
Yeah, he is the main connection of like why anything happened.
Yeah.
Dude, which is crazy. I never thought my brother would pull through for that, like on something like that. Like so random.
Yeah.
But yeah. So at the show though, he came and Marshall started like taunting him to come on stage and do a freestyle, but he's like not into that shit.
And I was like, we'd have a beat pad on stage. That's kind of part of our thing. Is like integrating some hip hop influences, which I have a ton of, and Jesse also does. And so I just told, I think Jesse broke a string, so I was like, play the beat pad.
Oh right, yeah.
We just need some.
So I was just playing like a simple like beat on the beat pad, and all of a sudden my brother, like I saw him walking on stage and I was like, no way, he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
And then he just freestyled for like good 16 bars or something like that.
But
was it
like
good?
The best part. Yeah,
it was
he hates it when he sees it. Yeah.
He was very anxious. Like he was like, my heart has never like beat faster. So.
I couldn't tell, man. It was like he's been practicing.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, I liked it.
Practicing, waiting for that moment.
Waiting for his moment.
Yeah.
Spit some bars.
Yeah. So, whenever Spitting Image first was created, how did like the name come about?
It's funny you ask. So when I would get stoned in high school, I was just looking for actual band names. I have a whole list. I got probably 30 plus. And nothing really just stuck. And with the whole Spitting Image thing, I didn't think it was going to last because I was like, it was in Nebraska. It was originally just going to be a cover band that I had with the guys. But I was like, we're just looking for a name, and I had the list, and I was like, oh, okay. So Spitting Image is actually, it's funny because I was really into like the whole claymation puppetry stuff of like the 90s, early or 80s too, and that's what I enjoyed watching when I was stoned. And there's this UK just goofy show of like, it's like political satire.
Yeah.
They just kind of make fun of all these people, and like really overblow like certain features in their face and stuff. It's great. I mean, if you look up Spitting Image on YouTube, you won't find our band first. It'll be
it's actually we got to work on our SEO.
That's been the hardest part, is just kind of getting above that. Well, what happened was I swear to God, they discontinued. So all I saw was old clips. I was like, okay, I like the name and I like the show. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then I think in the last 2 or 3 years, they revamped it up, which was kind of bad timing for us. But it's like, I mean, I love that show. So
yeah, kind of plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does the process of creating new music look like for you guys?
New music, it usually, well, we try it.
The first 5 songs I had to learn, but I put my own spin on them. So that was like step 1. Like, how are we going to start playing these songs from now on? And so like we made some changes there, because I don't know, I guess you thought I was a good drummer. So I made some changes. And like not too big of changes, but I think they were just changes that were needed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just like I like drumming with a lot of power.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add more to that.
Yeah.
So
and it makes it fun, for everybody. If you're joining a band and you're just like, I have written material, you play it exactly as we play it. Like, no, like anything.
Yeah, and I honestly that was one of my like things. I was like, I'm not joining this band if I can't do my own thing a little bit.
Your own style.
And actually, for that very reason, I don't play a single song the same way every concert. I do like a little different fills. Maybe a little bit of a different beat sometimes. Nothing too crazy. Nothing that'll throw you guys off.
No, I love it. It keeps it like on our toes. And there's some fills I'm like, I look back at them like, that was amazing.
Sometimes I catch them off guard.
Yeah.
But for like the newer stuff we've been writing, I'm just a dumb drummer for the most part. Like I have a hard time like conjuring up song ideas in my head. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm just improvising on drums for like an hour on end, I'll be thinking of a song in my head as I'm playing, because I'm usually a metal player, so I'm just usually thinking of like something really like technically progressive, and that's just changing and swapping all the time. And I can think of it in my head, but I can't describe it to him. Yeah. And it just sounds like, oh, you just go chun 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 chun.
I'm like, oh yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So what usually happens is he will come up with like the initial idea.
Just the ground zero.
Yeah. And like we did it yesterday. Yeah, yesterday we started doing that again. So he'll just come with like an audio recording on his phone. Just like a demo, essentially just guitar. And then he'll be like, okay, so this is it just goes verse, chorus, whatever. Maybe I'll suggest a change to that or whatever. And then I just do whatever comes naturally to me for the most part. Obviously, I don't want to like play the same thing every time, so I make a valiant effort to like change up what I'm doing. But for the most part, it just starts with a riff, and then I have to just conjure up most everything else, and then the bass kind of follows whatever my rhythm is for the most part,
moment,
or yours, I guess, a little bit.
Right. It has, as long as you and I get something going, and then adjustments are made after that. Because sometimes there's certain rhythm things that he does where I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I'll do dun 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 instead of dun 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 dun.
Yeah, like transitionary
if that makes
stuff.
any sense at all.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
like I brought him a song, and it was just kind of rounds.
Oh yeah,
it was super slow.
That was a good change.
And he was like, hey man, this fucking sucks. We need to speed this up. Like, don't ever do this again. No, he was way nicer than that. He was like, can we pick it up? Because I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, I was like, wanting to blow my brains out.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, let's try it. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like 50 BPM, like a lot faster. We took like a slow sap, whatever it was like a, I don't even know how to describe the song. Yeah, really chill, acoustic-y type of song. And then we turned it into like a pop punk, pop song. Right. It was more pop.
Something to jump to.
Yeah.
It was great. So like he still has as much influence on everything. And that's all I've wanted was people in bands to be like, hey, I have this idea. Let's try this. Instead, it's just me.
Contributing.
Yeah, right. And I don't want it to just sound like me. I want it to sound like us.
A collective. Yes. Yeah. So back to performances and shows. Do y'all still get nervous before a performance?
I shit my pants every time.
Every time.
Every time. No, I mean, I think, with the way it was on tour, I was so tired of being in that car, and I think everybody was, where we're like, let's play. I just want to play.
Yeah.
How much have you played live? Just in general, I actually don't even know.
Well, this is the most I've played live ever, because in Nebraska was like
how many shows approximately total?
If we're counting now,
just
probably
how many stage experiences?
More than 20. More than 20.
Okay. No, you got to be. Yeah, you probably like
30. Yeah,
30. It would be my guess. Yeah.
What about you? Because you had a band.
Oh,
well, you had.
I had that Rockstar 101 thing that I was kind of helping teach the drummers for. I probably played in like over 150 plus shows. So I've gotten rid of the stage fright. It's funny actually. The first time I have gotten stage fright in a while was last night, thinking about hopping on stage with one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Shout out Snuffed On Sight. Yeah, they threw a crazy ass show in Denver. I got windmill kicked in the mouth yesterday, like really hard. It was bad. There's people killing people in there. Marshall found the drummer of the band. Mm-hmm. He's like, he pulled me out of the mosh pit essentially and was like, dude, come outside. I'm talking to the drummer with Snuffed On Sight. They want you to come on. And he showed him a video of like just me soloing, and he was like, yeah, like totally. Yeah. And so I went over there, talked to him, and it was just super sick. But in that moment, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is like a real opportunity. And he goes, what do you know? And I was like, oh, like this is actually freaking me out right now. That there's a good 100 people in there. It's like, this is a serious band too. Like they've been really doing well lately, and they're probably one of my top 3 or top 5 bands right now. And I was like, in that moment, I told them like 3 songs, and unfortunately they had changed like the structure of those songs, so I would not have been able to just like know and pick up on it. So I missed out on that opportunity, unfortunately, but I'm going to learn their whole new album for when they come back. They're coming back soon, and I'll tell them I could play any one of those podcasts.
Did you get any like good advice from them, or any imparting wisdom?
He's actually going to take some lessons from them.
Yeah. He offers lessons, but he's doing like tour right now, so he's not just not into that right now. He's from Oregon, so probably just like Zoom videos, but yeah, I'm going to take some lessons from him, I think. I don't really hold my drumsticks correctly, at least not to do double stroke rolls if we're getting technical. I mean, I hold them well, like I don't get cramps and shit, but I don't have like technicality in my drumming. I'm very like single stroke left, right. And that kind of gets in the way of stuff. And I was watching him on a practice pad, with both his feet and both of his hands doing crazy patterns to build his left-right independence. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's like way, like he needs to be in a different band. Like he's that, I mean, not really like his drumming fits, but like he could be in such a like more technical band. That was the most nervous I had ever been. And I didn't even get on the stage. I was just thinking about it. I was like, holy shit, I haven't had this feeling in a long time.
Wow.
But yeah, I haven't had stage fright in years. So
are there any
long-winded answer?
Are there any pre-show rituals that you guys have kind of?
Well, we all kiss each other on the lips. That's the big one.
You and Dom like to take a shot of tequila. It seems every time. Yeah.
Shot. Tried the whole band huddle probably one time.
Yeah. How did that go? Did you give everyone a pep
HQ.
talk?
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I need you boys. I just got dumped.
Like,
come together moment.
So not so much of a pep talk.
No, it was more of like, let's just kill this motherfucking show. Like, this is what I'm here for. I got nothing else going on now. Like, I need you boys to bring it in.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, fuck yeah, we're going. And we had a great set.
Actually, that was an awesome show.
I think you guys sent us Tessa Brancato.
Yes.
Yeah. She did amazing shots.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool of you guys. I mean, what you guys have done, what you guys are doing now is super sick. The whole independent Denver radio station thing, like, and not like whole DIY, not getting paid for it really. I don't think.
Yeah, no.
That's how it goes.
We're all students started, and yeah, it's been great, and it's been a lot of work and a lot of people that have contributed to it, and like it's really cool to meet like all the bands and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys enjoy it.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. It's definitely clear by the level of effort that I feel like everybody puts into it. That like
otherwise, why would you do it?
We all enjoy it. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What is your favorite part about performing?
I like just getting crazy on stage.
Yeah.
You know, we always like one of my favorites is like Clay. Like that's the opening track to our EP, and that's always just a mosh song and seeing everybody get nuts or like going into the crowd. I love just crowd work and jumping around. I always wanted to be Eddie Vedder, but I'm not that good of a singer, so I always hide behind my guitar. But if I have a chance to just sing and just be in the crowd and jumping all over shit like Cooper, I mean, we all have. That's the biggest thing about this band is I want people to have something to look at. Because I've seen so many bands where it's just like, just getting through it and just looking at their guitar and like, I get you don't want to fuck up, but it's rock and roll, man.
You gotta have that level of energy, that performance. Like, exactly. Yeah. So who tends to like be like the hype up man of the group, I guess, or who tends to hype the rest of each other up?
I think that would be you. Yeah.
But I don't need to hype them up. Like everybody's just fucking ready.
Yeah. It doesn't require much work.
Yeah.
So what are like some goals that you can see yourself like accomplishing in the future?
Stadiums?
I
don't know. I mean,
so like the big
ball
dream goal?
arena.
Huge. Yeah.
The ball arena is the dream goal.
Yeah.
Red Rocks would be tight. I mean, we got a long ways to go, but
I've seen really small bands open up at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens.
I don't know how it happens.
Not small, like we're small, but like like I guess this isn't the best gauge, but like they'll have like one banger on Spotify and like 3,000 monthly listeners on Spotify as well. And like 5,000 Instagram followers. Right. I know that's not like it's just
but it's
the metrics that I think
it comes down to that, man. The followers and monthly listeners. That's a big thing.
But I'll see them on the Red Rocks lineup like at the bottom, and I'm like, wow, that's insane. I don't know how you do it.
Is that like local artists? Or is it just anybody you've seen?
Yeah, I don't know that part, but I'm sure people are willing to travel just to
Oh yeah.
Red Rocks?
You can't pass that up. I would play that. I would pay $500.
Yeah, dude, seriously, I'd pay just
and $500 that's just all I got.
We live in town. We're cool.
Like scratch 50,000 or whatever it probably would really cost, but
So if anybody's listening, we'll pay to be at Red Rocks on
$500 limit
though. $500. That's cap. That's cap.
Okay. What has been your favorite performance like so far? Is there any night that's been like super memorable?
You first.
That's a tough question because I would have said the Chicago show that I played at, but I was just filled with rage the whole time because I think one, I was expelling my anxious energy like about like the venue and if they were gonna like kick us out.
We had to supply our own sound too,
and supplying our own sound was crazy hard to do. Thankfully we had an awesome sound guy. Shout out James. It was just like. So the anxiousness and then my drum set was like falling apart on me. Like, it's
my drum set and I do not take care of it at all. And Cooper
that wasn't even the problem that you don't take care of it. It was the fact that I put a brand new drum head on it with a pad, like a Kevlar pad that kind of adds a little bit of punch to the
really just the kick.
And this has never happened to me before, but I was tuning my head differently. I was tuning it looser, so the Kevlar pad started to come off and left all the adhesive So my beaters on my bass drum head would stick to the drum, and then I couldn't do anything about it. Yeah. And that happened twice. Once in New York and once in, or no,
right?
Arkansas.
No, it did, yeah, it did start there.
And then once in
like foreshadowing.
Chicago. So like half a song, my bass drum was like disabled essentially. Yeah. I have a double kick, so I was using my left foot, but I was really bad at it. Yeah. I had my girlfriend. I was like, "Come here." Yeah. Like during a song, she ran up and I was like, "Grab the napkin." And she put the napkin up to the adhesive, and I just slammed my beater on it so that it wouldn't stick to the adhesive. It would stick to like the napkin would stick to the adhesive onto the head.
So throughout that whole show, we're watching him just get filled with rage. I've never seen him so fucking angry because he's back in his hometown. All of his friends are there,
and of all course, my shit is fucking up.
Yeah, and so at the end of that show,
we played "Killing in the Name of."
Yeah, which is one of our just a great way to end the show. And
Killing in the Name.
Yeah, Killing in the Name. And he just, I was like, before that, I was like, Cooper's going to destroy my drum set. And I said it out loud. And then at the end, he starts throwing the kick, throwing the cymbals.
I just immediately stood up and
just
kicked the kick drum. I was so
total
pissed.
Nirvana shit. It was great. It was a great way to end it.
Yeah,
it was one of my favorite shows. It's too bad that the whole kick thing was.
Yeah.
But I still
honestly the last show, I will say that's my favorite one. The last Larimer Lounge show.
Larimer was great.
The tour ender.
Yep.
My drums sounded great. Everyone else sounded good. I had great sound. Yeah. There was a good amount of people there. Someone got hit in the nose in the mosh pit, and then stopped all the moshing, unfortunately. But that's how you know it was a good show. People got a little too crazy. So I would say that was my favorite.
Yeah, I think mine would be HQ. I really liked HQ. It was good seeing what we could do after. It felt like against all odds. That was a big
show. We had you got like fucking 25 people out at least on your own.
Yep, that was really nice. Well, the whole sympathy thing helped of getting dumped. But I had Ethan, my longtime friend who I invited back in 2020 to live with me during COVID. We hadn't played together for years, and he flew out for that show, and so he would do solos and stuff on top of the songs, and it was really nice to have that. To me, feels like Spitting Image.
Yeah,
so that was like my favorite show.
That would probably tie it. Yeah, it's close.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Do you guys each have like a favorite song that you like to perform?
I love them all, but I think I don't know. Clay's always just like,
I gotta say, Forgotten.
Yeah, Forgotten. Okay, yeah. So that's a song that's not on the EP yet, but it is the next single.
It's our next single.
It won't be produced by me this time, and not mixed in a fucking basement.
It's also the first song we wrote together.
Yes. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this was after I learned the songs for that first show, and then he's like, "All right, dude, we're writing a song. Here it is," and we did it.
It's one of my favorites,
and it's super fun.
It's us. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's your favorite because like y'all wrote it, or is it like okay?
Yeah, it's high energy, and it's also.
I get to go pretty crazy. Yeah. That's where I do the most improvising.
Yeah.
So I just kind of I like to be like, oh, what am I gonna think of here in this next part?
Yeah.
I think that's where I've done a lot of my my little magic, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Forgotten. I would say Forgotten too.
Yeah.
Like that one.
What so. Obviously, we go to a big music business school, and so like a lot of students are probably in like are kind of like in a place where they want to start a band and like they don't know how to start, or like what is just the best piece of advice like you would give?
Network, go to shows. Go to shows. I wish I did that when I first moved out instead of just being shy. Is just go talk to musicians, go talk to bands. All you gotta do is talk about their band and how great they are.
Yeah.
Musicians always just want to talk about themselves. Some don't, but if you talk music and just figure out like, hey, it's because some of them might be in the process of like quitting or moving on. Like, I don't know. It's just something after networking. That was the best way I found people.
And honestly, like, I think one thing that we could also learn from is, and like, I think like you're really good with the social media stuff, but I think like, every band should have a TikTok account with constant content. Even if you hate TikTok, it doesn't matter. Like there are bands that get one hit on TikTok, all of a sudden, boom, they're making like $150 a month from streams just from Spotify, and that's something. You're not even doing anything at that point. You're just writing your music.
Yeah.
And like, that's all, like, that's one thing that we could learn from. Like, I've wanted to start a TikTok for a little bit, but like, I'm not very good at making content. And I don't have like a camera and shit. I guess like people do it on their phone nowadays, but like, I think that's one thing that we need to step up. And then like, honestly, if you're playing shows, have good merch, cheap merch, something that you can make a good profit margin on, because that's where you're going to make the most money. You can't trust a lot of venues. Yeah, we went all the way to New York and got paid $30 for each band for 2 nights at the same place. So we made $60 from the concert. We made none of the bar, no pre-sale tickets. We didn't even sell tickets. We were just hoping that we were getting money from the bar. They told us 10%. Didn't really happen. So we were just kind of like, I don't know.
And that's
like, we were just promised a lot more, which kind of sucks. So just like be wary of those kinds of things.
And we fell on a bad week because that week was Harlem Week, which we got told by the first night we went to the Shrine, there was a guy who was also part of the radio station who came in and was wondering like what was going on. Actually, the Revolver of Kings, he walked in on their set, said they were amazing. Do they have a manager? I said, no, I don't think so. And he walked away. I chased him down and asked him like, hey, what are you about though? He was like, well, I'm in charge of this radio station called, what is it called? Harlem Sound. I'll figure it out. But, their shtick is that you can get on the radio station if it's good, if it's good MP3, and, if you played in Harlem. And we were just talking about how like with Shrine, I don't know if it's just because we were an opening band. There's nothing against Shrine. It's just if you got to make sure that those people are promoting as much as you can. You got to be aggressive. I mean, or not aggressive, but just
have the passion.
Right. Yeah. Always be willing to follow up. Be kind. Don't be annoying. But follow up and ask them questions. If you guys stay out of the loop, that's probably why they didn't promote us because persistent.
Yeah, you definitely need persistence. Like when I was trying to find Chicago shows, I think I think I got my show last out of every you and Dom were booking shows, and I was trying to find my Chicago show, and I think I don't know what it fucking was, but it took me so long to find a Chicago show. Every place was booked out, or had a show that was like already fully booked and everything. And that's why I ended up choosing that place that was going to make me pay it, because I was just like so down bad.
I got desperate.
Yeah.
But
so
still a great show. You know?
Yeah.
Gave them a chance.
Yeah. So do you guys run the social media, and do you have a TikTok?
We do not have a TikTok, but
we do have Instagram.
We do have
Gotta
Instagram.
get on that. Gotta get on the
Spitting Image the Band.
Yeah.
On Instagram. But yeah, the TikTok thing after this conversation, we do have content to just be able to post, like just little clips and stuff. We have a YouTube channel. Again, it's Spitting Image the Band. You could look any of that, but most of that stuff would probably go on TikTok.
It actually somewhat related to this. Something that we actually need to start coordinating soon is just kind of like, I guess, for lack of better terms, like a marketing campaign where we develop our image. And because like right now we have like some AI generated skull as our logo, which is like cool, but like I'd rather use like real art from a real artist. That like kind of understands like our artistic vision as well. And so at the Chicago show, I got 2 people. So I had one person reach out. She does art. She's in New York. Her name is Charlotte Grimm. She does really sick, like abstract-y kind of art. She'd have to tinge her style a little bit to get a little more rock and roll.
Right.
But she offered to do art for us, and then at the show, one of my like neighborhood old school friends, like from I didn't even remember the last time I talked to him. He was like, dude, I do IT, like I build websites, I'm really good with SEO. Like let me build you a website. And so he offered to build me a website for free. And then one of my buddies, I totally forgot, works at a screen printing company where he does like shirts. He can do stitched hats and like all sorts of different patterns, but like and he can do merch. So like all that together, you got someone doing the art, someone doing the website, someone doing the merch, and you can kind of like coordinate that all together. And that's something that I think fans need to do right off the jump. Like, there's historic value to Spitting Image, so I think that's like kind of why we stuck with like maybe the album cover and just like the things that we have now. And it was easier and cheaper. But like now that we like have made some money and like are willing to like invest back into like what we're doing, like when you're when you know you have the means to do that, do it as soon as you can, because that's going to be what really helps digital footprint and merch sales.
Right.
That's
the more you do, the less you wait
at the beginning.
Yeah. And you would recommend like finding these connections like locally.
I mean, I would.
It's easier in town.
I'm probably going to get all of that work discounted to an extent because like they're all high school friends. You know, my buddy Jason, he's the homie. He told me I'd get a discount right off the bat. So I'm like, my guy who made the website in like 3 days and didn't even charge me. He's like, I just want to do it for fun. I was like, dude, you're such a nerd.
Yeah.
But like, thanks, bro. Like, you're sick for that. Like, it was awesome. Like, just having those 3 connections after one night was like insane. I didn't think that was gonna happen. So we gotta definitely follow up on that, and then I don't know, something's gotta happen from that. Make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And just be nice. Just be nice about everything. I mean, always appreciate people because then they want to help more.
Yeah.
And I've never ran into any bands really with like an ego thing. Like that was like a big thing in the 80s or something. People would start fights and junk like that. But like this scene around here, everybody's always nice. And that gets you way further.
That's so true. Because if Marshall was a dickhead, I would have never joined the band.
Yeah.
And same for him to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 2 people and we were like, eh.
Yeah.
But like we ended up liking one guy, so that was good. But we were just like, we have to make sure that like these people are cool.
Yeah.
You know? I was gonna join a band, not join a band. I reached out to this guy and I was like, hey, do you have like a video of you singing or something? And it was a lip singing video of him screaming, what's it called? The Drowning Pool song, the bodies at the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
with like just like the most graphic pictures of like aborted fetuses, and like his whole thing was like super like Christian, like super right wing. And I was like, I am not fucking.
This is not the
vibe. This dude's like 35, like, that didn't really bother me until I saw that, and I was like, okay, this is like. Not gonna work.
Yeah. And this was in Denver?
Yeah, this was in Denver.
That's
this is
crazy.
Some dude in Denver.
Yeah. Like, dodged a bullet.
Yeah. And the fact that I scrolled through his whole YouTube and didn't see one single video of him doing anything musical, I was like, is this guy, does he know how to do anything? Right. Like, he's just like posting.
Is he just trying to kill me?
Yeah, I almost got to that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was very weird.
Music catfish.
Oh my goodness.
I was also like, how the hell is this on YouTube?
Yeah, Christ. How did this not
Someone
get pulled?
Scrub that shit.
Yeah. So, what does the future look like for Spitting Image?
The future?
Yeah, like what do you each see personally? Like, future looks like.
We want to do this for a living.
Yeah.
If we can get paid for it, I think if you work hard at something, you can get paid for it.
Yeah.
But you have to bust ass. You got to be badass.
You got to be persistent.
I've jumped from job to job, and it just kind of felt like there was a reason why I wasn't enjoying any of it, because it's just not what I was going to do. I was never going to be happy anyway. So it's like, this is kind of it.
Yeah, finding what you love is important.
Big time. I mean, you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. You know, you better do something that you actually like. And other people like other shit. I'm just not good at anything else. Like, this is the only thing I'm semi-good at. And I still have a ton of work to do, but like, just signs just kind of kept pointing me this way, and I've talked to Dom, talked to Cooper, and Alex. We're just kind of all on the same page of like, I kind of want to do this too if I can. And if we can.
What if us four started a band? That would be crazy. That would be a mess.
I'd end up fucking killing Dom.
Is there anything that like your fans should definitely know about you, like before coming to a show or like when they're first discovering you guys?
If you are a fan, you're the fucking best.
Yeah,
That's number one. If you are a fan of Spitting Image, you
do.
are the homie.
Yeah.
Number one homies,
Yep.
for sure.
I always tell them, like, we can't do this stuff without you guys.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we're just a bunch of hacks on stage just playing to no
We
one.
wouldn't
It's
do
like,
this if
yeah.
we had no people coming. Like,
we
that's
always try to-
literally the only reason why we're there. Like, you
Yeah.
have to be grateful for your fans. Like, I'm texting my fucking friends, like, every 2 weeks,
Yeah,
like,
like, thank
hey,
you.
I got a show. Hey, I got a show. And at some
Yeah.
point, I feel like a disingenuous, like,
Yeah.
fuckhead, like, just trying to get money from people.
Right,
but I'm
right.
like, some of my friends ended up becoming, like, actual fans. You know,
Yeah.
they think it's cool. My brother likes it. And, like, you know.
Well, what's
like-
more fun than playing music with your friends, but also with your friends in the crowd, like
Yeah.
watching you, or for me, I'd get them in the crowd with them and start moshing with them. Like, it's no better way to do it.
Yeah.
Be around your homies, and
Just knowing that support's there.
yeah, we wouldn't be able to do most of the stuff and have most of the confidence if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And we're small, and we're still figuring things out, but they're like, yeah, fuck with what you're doing. Like,
Yeah,
really?
that's
Really?
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah, you guys sound like you have very, very sweet fans. So
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
They're super supportive.
We have some very, very supportive fans, and it's awesome to see them out there. Like,
yeah.
there's 2 dudes who come to like every show.
Yeah, Nick and his cousin. Yeah, they rock.
So is there any like new music or anything that you want to like tease, I guess, or
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we just released an EP that was done in my sister's room when she moved out. We recorded it all of ourselves. I had all the mics. I watched YouTube videos of the butt, but I produced most of it. And so it's not, it's nothing high production, but it sounds like a garage EP, and we all really fuck with it. This next, and that just released probably maybe a month ago. I don't even know. July 20th. July 20th.
Yeah, July 20th.
So yeah. So that just released. Check that out. Spitting Image Between the Lines. And then what we have going on next is now Forgotten, the song that is one of our favorites, and it's our first song that we wrote together. So we have it all tracked out. I'm going to send it to this guy in Ohio that I met when I was working at Target, and he's really good at what he does production wise. And I always wanted to find an actual said producer that gives a shit, and I think he really does. So we're hoping this next song is way better quality, radio stuff, but that should be coming out hopefully in the next month or two.
Okay, awesome. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I will look forward to hearing
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All right, so heard it here first. Go follow them. Go listen to their music. Look out for the TikTok soon. Yeah.
I gotta do it now.
Yeah, we'll get on it.
We'll get on it.
Well, thank you guys so much for talking with me today. It was a joy.
Yeah, no
It was
worries.
cool
Thank you
getting
for
to know
having
you
us.
guys.
This is
Great
awesome.
question, man.
Yeah.
Very
Oh, thank you.
professional.
Thanks.
Very
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all did killer. It was great. So thank you guys. And tune into Denver Links Radio's next episode.